debate that has been raging over the interpretation and ambit of Sanatan Dharma. Kerala Governor Arif Mohammed Khan has backed Aligarh Muslim University's founder Sir Syed Ahmed Khan's remarks that Hindu was not a religious term but a geographical term. Before we go on to the political slugfest that it has started, listen to what he said.
I do not consider Hindu is a religious term. Hindu is a geographical term. Anybody who is born in India, anybody who lives on the food which is produced in India, anybody who drinks water from the rivers of India is entitled to call himself a Hindu.
Now, these remarks, remember, come in the backdrop of what Yogi Adityanath had said. Remember, just days ago, Yogi Adityanath came out to say that Sanatan Dharma is equivalent to national religion. And now Arif Mohammed Khan has added to that, almost implying the same thing, that anybody who lives in India is a Hindu and therefore their primary concern, their primary dharma is to serve the country. However, Kerala governor's remarks have drawn flack, with some attributing motives and other discrediting him. The BJP, however, insists the definition is correct.
The responsibility of governor is to protect the constitution, not to give such kind of statements. He is following RSS Vichardhara. That is the reason he is in habit to give such statements.
देखिए, आरिफ मोहम्मद खान ऐसा आदमी है, हालांकि मैं माफी चाहता हूं, मैंने ऐसा आदमी बोल दिया, उसको मुसलमान नहीं मानते, क्योंकि वो हमेशा कुरान के खिलाफ, इस्लाम के खिलाफ, मुसलमान के खिलाफ, उनकी जहनियत ऐसी है जो एक गैर मुस्लिम की भी नहीं हो सकती.
Otherwise, they speak of believing in constitution. They believe about Supreme Court, but they don't believe in the decision of Supreme Court. Supreme Court has categorically stated Hindu is a way of life. It's dharma. The problem with these guys is that they can't differentiate between dharma and the religion.
आरिफ मोहम्मद खान वो व्यक्ति है जो पांचों वक्त का नमाज पढ़ने वाला मुसलमान है, लेकिन उनकी राष्ट्रभक्ति, उनकी निष्ठा और हिंदुत्व के बारे में उनका सोच बिल्कुल क्लियर है.
Joining me now is Rahul Ishwar, who is an activist, as well as Vivek Shrivastava, political analyst. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Rahul Ishwar, as somebody who has no claims of knowing about religion and the origin of the word Hindu, could you just throw some light on how really did the word come?
Two submissions. One, the word Hindu comes from Sindhu, one of the greatest rivers we had. The ancient Persians and the others, they didn't have the word or sound S in their vocabulary. So they used to call it Hapta Hindu. You know what we call a Sapta Sindhu. They used to call us Hapta Hindu. And even right now, many of the Middle East people address us as Al-Hind, Hindustan. So Hindu is a geographical, cultural, civilizational term. The Greeks used to call Sindhu as Indus, or that's how India came. From Sindhu came Hindustan and Hindi or Hindu, and everything originated from that. So it is more of a cultural term, civilizational term, geographical term rather than a religion. So apart from history, let us see what Supreme Court said in 1995. Brahmachari Siddheshwar Sai versus State of West Bengal. Supreme Court quoted the earlier Chief Justice P.B. Gajendra Gadkar to say that Hindu is a way of life. There is Vaishnavism inside, Shaivism inside, Shaktism inside, Ayyappa cult inside, Ganapateya inside. There is a whole range of belief system. There are even some people who doesn't agree with the whole temple system. Vigraharadhana, the Arya Samajis are there, the Brahma Samajis are there, the Vedantis are there. So Hindu, rather than a religion or a worshipping system, is a cultural, civilizational term we should understand. And please remember, the most left liberal paper in India, the Hindu, is still having the name the Hindu. And there are many great Muslims in India who proudly says we are culturally Hindu. So Hindu is more of a culture, civilization, and let us not confuse that. And we are proud of Kerala government, Arif Mohammed Khan sir, and it was in a Kerala Hindus of North America program. They are a US-based organization which I have gone many programs for. They are a great organization who does service to the society. So Arif Mohammed Khan sir is raising a great point which everyone should say. And this is Hindustan. Does that mean it only belongs to one community? No. Hindustan is some term we use for the entire India. So let us understand beyond the narrow constraints a larger contour, a larger dimension of Hindustan, Hindu, and our India as a civilization.
Mr. Vivek Shrivastava, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. I don't have anything to add to it. I wish what he said was true, but it is not the way of looking at things. Very recently in debates, we heard Pandit Dhirendra Shastri saying, "To mujhe khoon do, hum Hindu Rashtra banayenge." When we talk to RSS people, they say, "Hum Hindu Rashtra banayenge." The present constitution is not acceptable to us. And the fact that you included the word secular in the constitution is also not acceptable to us. That means the secular constitution and the Hindu Rashtra cannot go side by side. So what is this Hindu Rashtra? Actually, the RSS and the Hindu Brigade has a fixation for a civilization 5,000, 10,000 year old, and they want to replicate it now. They don't understand that culture changes with time. They want a monolithic religion, a monolithic language to cover the whole country, which is not possible. Sikhism is a different religion. But RSS says Sikhism is not a religion.
Even today.
It is a part of Hinduism. Buddhism is a separate religion.
Today, PM
but
Modi ji said.
RSS says Buddha is an incarnation of Vishnu.
Even today,
So I mean, you are obsessed with adding people,
language in the world.
and culture does vary, eating habits vary.
Vivek ji, even this day in Pariksha Pe Charcha, PM Modi ji said,
whatever might the Prime Minister say, in actuality,
Tamil language.
No. See.
He said that. He's saying it for the fifth
Right.
or sixth
Now,
time.
9 days of
Tamil is the oldest
Navratras,
language in the world.
non-vegetarian shops were banned by the MCD corporator in South Delhi.
Arif,
Why?
what does this have to do
No,
with
you are
what we are
taking us
discussing
very
right
carefully. What you
now?
are saying is not theoretical.
Literally
Practically
comparing
speaking, in
apples
Delhi,
to meat.
in 9, that means they are separate culture, separate religion, separate eating habits, and you have to accept each other. You have to respect each other.
But,
A
okay,
greater
but
India
which
and a
part,
superpower,
Mr. Shrivastava, let's take it one by one.
respect
Which
each other.
part
You don't
of
become a superpower
Arif
by saying
Mohammed Khan,
nothing exists and we are all Hindus.
Mr.
No, we are
Shrivastava,
not.
Mr. Shrivastava, which part of Arif Mohammed Khan's speech do you find offensive towards other religions?
Yes. No, it is not a question. The fact that he says, you cannot have a monolithic religious system across the country. It doesn't exist.
But he's not
There
saying
are
that we
differences
should
in
have a
eating habits.
monolithic religious
There are
culture.
differences in worshipping structures. Long time
Yes.
ago, somewhere in the history, please let me complete. Somewhere in the history, because of the Indus River, and you do not have the word Indus, and the Arabs used to call us Hindus. That is how everybody who was living on this side of the Indus River was called a Hindu. Later on, it developed and started identifying itself with Sanatan Dharma, as they call it today. So let us not confuse. The fact that RSS, the Bajrang Dal, says that we want a Hindu Rashtra. What is this Hindu Rashtra that you want? If it is the Hindu
There are
Rashtra,
2 points. Let us be very categorical.
Why do you say remove the word secular?
Okay, you made a point.
Why do you have a problem with it?
Let's hear Rahul Ishwar's counter to that. We're really short on time. Yes, Mr. Ishwar.
Let me respond.
It is not a Hindu Rashtra.
No, I don't have any politics. But a person of the stature of Amit Shah ji categorically said, we don't want any religious nation. I don't think anybody with a sane mind would argue for a Hindu Pakistan. At the same time, India is culturally a Hindustan. Let us not try to change it. India is culturally a Hindustan. Sare jahan se acha. Hindustan hamara was written by Allama Muhammad Iqbal. So Hindustan is a name that we had for centuries. India is culturally a Hindu nation, a Hindu civilization, and we should be proud of it. Not only India, the largest Muslim nation in the world, Indonesia, even carries the great Hindu culture. Sri Ram, Ramayana, Ram iconography. So let us understand what religion is. Yes, there may be far and few problems in India. We can solve that.
Yes.
But
Now
Arif
you are
Mohammed
coming
Khan
to it.
was raising a philosophical point, a cultural point.
The thing with religion and faith is that even for the followers of the same religion, one thing can mean different things for different people, even if they belong to the same religion. But Mr. Shrivastava, what about the Supreme Court verdict, where the Supreme Court, after thorough scrutiny, says that Hindutva or Hinduism, they're including both, by the way, they're not making a distinction between Hinduism and Hindutva that several people try to make, are indicative more of a way of life for Indians. So even the Supreme Court implies that Hindus are Indians. You don't agree with the Supreme Court?
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. But then, no, I see. I agree with the Supreme Court, but you need to understand the context in which the particular ruling and the particular comments were made. What do you mean by the way of living? Everybody wears a shirt and a trouser. What do you eat? Everybody goes to McDonald's or some other restaurant. Everybody speaks in the similar languages. We go to similar schools. So, I mean, if you talk about the so-called lifestyle, it is same. Yes, there could be food habits. South Indians have a different food, North Indians have a different food habit. That is a different issue. However, when you talk of religion, there are different religious systems independent of each other which are existing in this country.
But the debate here is whether the word Hindu stands for a religion.
That Islam is a different religion.
No, but
Buddhism is a different religion.
But we're not talking about religion, sir. We're talking about geographical implication. If the SC is saying that Hindutva or Hinduism stands for Indians and their way of life, which means Indians are people who live in India. Is being Indian also a religion?
Now, fine, so it is already a Hindu Rashtra. So that means it is already a Hindu Rashtra and secularism a way of a Hindu Rashtra. If the RSS agrees with it, it is okay. If the RSS says Sikhism is
Mr. Rahul Ishwar, does RSS disagree with this? Does RSS not say that Hindu and Muslim are one and the same?
Yes, it does. RSS disagrees. Yes.
Let's ask Mr. Rahul
RSS
Ishwar.
says that Sikhism is not a separate religion. RSS says there is something called Sanatan Dharam, and these are not dharmas, they are panth.
No. Can I point out one thing? Pujaniya Sarsang Chalak Mohan Bhagavad, just give me one line. You had your say. We all have the same DNA. We all have the same DNA. We all have the same nation. We all have the same civilization. The worshipping modes may be different. Our Muslim brothers, Christian brothers, inside Hindus there are various paths. The Vedantis are there. The Tantrics are there. Temple worship are there. At the end of the day, we are culturally one. Civilizationally one. Our Indian Muslims don't follow the Arab culture. Our Indian Muslims don't follow the Arab culture. Indonesian Muslims don't follow the Arab culture.
Geographically, yes. Culturally, no. You're wrong.
Why not? Culturally, we are similar.
You can say yes. I mean, anybody living on this side of the Indus River can be called a Hindu. Geographically, yes. Culturally, no.
Culturally, even Muhammad Khan calls Sri Ram.
But who's imposing a culture? When Yogi says that Sanatan Dharma is national religion, is he imposing a culture? Mr. Ishwar? Because that can easily be considered one of the imports of what he said.
Imposing it.
Okay, can I point out one thing? What did our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, do? Mahatma Gandhi, all religious meetings.
Let's take it one by one, gentlemen. It's just easier for everyone to... Sir, Mr. Shrivastava, let's take it one by one. It's just easier to understand your point of view. Mr. Ishwar, 20 seconds, then we'll come to Mr. Shrivastava.
Let us follow the path of Mahatma Gandhi, who used to play Raghupati Raghava Rajaram, which included Ishwar Allah Tero Naam. See, we are a culture, we need to have synergy, syncretism, we need to evolve and bond together. We have one great Indian culture, the Arsha Bharata Sanskriti, which is inclusive of all faiths. That's what we have. Let us not try to divide geographical culture and civilization.
That reminds me of another point that Arif Mohammad Khan made in that speech. He said that to say Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, aapas mein sab bhai bhai, Mahatma Gandhi was forced to say that because the British had made it their purpose to divide and rule, and which is why they had segregated people, they had different set of rules, they had different set of reservations for different. So instead of saying all Indians are bhai bhai, they divided them. Do you disagree with that? Should it now not be a motto of an evolved society to talk about Indians' unity and not about Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai uniting towards each other? Because it's a given in India. Where are they not united?
No, see. If you... No, see, listen. No, we are already united, but that doesn't mean that we are not different. We can be different, we can have different religious beliefs.
But who's asking for everybody to be homologous? Nobody is asking for the...
still be united, so it is not necessary to sare Hindu ho gaye.
Yes, being homogeneous is different from being united.
The religious habits of the Sanatan Dharma on other people.
Sir, just one line.
Arif Mohammad
Khan is a practicing
If you are different, I mean, there is so much of controversy of non-vegetarian foods. There was one Jan corporator.
And when there is, it is opposed.
No. See, you are talking about the unity of the nation. Everybody is united as far as the country is concerned. Unity in diversity is what we read in school.
Yes.
In school textbooks, we read unity in diversity.
And that is what we practice even now, and one really hopes that is practiced forever. But this is not a debate that is going to end in 15 minutes of news time. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. We take a very quick break on that note.